Where where does the human consciousness come from? How does that work? Well, I believe we're entangled. Any two particles can be entangled. A big particle and a small particle. And I believe we're entangled with half the universe, with the water inside of our head, from the moment we're born, out of our mother's water. You see, it's all observation. See, entanglement is observation. It's a spin that is frictionless, and it's just the two particles observing each other. So two particles. So when you're in your mother's water for 9.5 months, you're the same density as the water in your mother's womb. And because of that, if you looked at you and the earth with a gravity eye, you wouldn't really know where you began and the water within your mother's womb began and ended. Because of that, and the gravity eye of the universe can't really know exactly where your particles were. And because of that, you don't exactly know where the particles of the universe were. You kind of have a vague idea. You can hold each other in relevance and stasis, but in quantum coherence, but you don't know exactly. But then when you emerge from your mother's water at 9.5 months, at that moment, your soul is born because you're entangled with half the universe. We know this as Virgo, Gemini, all those things. Now, in entanglement, once you entangle two particles, you can move them a distance. And when you move them a distance, you can rotate one and the other one rotates in an inverted opposite direction. Let me say it again. You have two particles, you entangle them, bigger or smaller than each other, or the same size. You move them a distance away from each other, any distance. You rotate one, instantly the other rotates in an inverted opposite direction. Not the same direction, inverted opposite. It's interesting, we can go into that later, but in most equations, distance and time are interchangeable. So when you are you're entangled the moment of your birth, and you live a distance, or you live a life, or you live a time, it's the same as distance. And when you die, you are just being re-observed by those same particles. Now, an interesting thing happens with the human being. If you encounter another human being who's also entangled with the universe, and you're greedy with them, angry with them, have sexual wants with them, use them for greedy, angry, sexual wants, material needs, or prideful by not giving them spiritual advice or information, or hurting them judgmentally, that's false, you will not be able to upload your entanglement. So how do I explain this? If you're born in Gemini, one half of the universe, and I'm born in another half of the universe, there's a quadrant that we share, two quadrants that are our own, and a quadrant that is none of ours. Well, because we share a quadrant, I won't let you upload because you've given me bad karmic. You've got bad karmic judgment. So the human being is again and again formed. The consciousness that we're entangled with forms actually every time half the universe forms, because we're actual entangled consciousness of the locations of half of all the atoms in half of the universe. You see, the earth turns into a gravity well, and so does the sun, and takes a gravitational picture of all the locations of half the atoms in the universe. And this gravitational picture is, it's so crazy to say, entangled with us over a period of time or distance. And then when we die, it rotates, and the universe rotates in an inverted opposite way. And back to our moment of birth, we can know what's happening in the universe. That's what's special about the human being. Back to the moment of our birth. Now, not only that works, is that we can link up with other human beings like Jesus Christ, who's also entangled, and he can do things that affect me, and I can do things that affect him, and our gentlemen, we can work together. It's quite an amazing thing. And when you work together, you work for the universe's good. So it's actually impossible for you to work against it. I know that comes up all the time, but it's a self-correcting thing, because if you work against it, you're just born again, and you do it again and you do it again until you You do it with no greed, the minimum suffering, and of course you suffer the whole way. So you can help people so that you don't have to help them next time, so they can learn. Oh man, is it crazy. But yeah, we're quantum beings. And every time the universe forms is a focal point where we are. And just luckily, just by the luck of the moment, if the earth is there and someone's giving birth to somebody, the universe gets to have a little tiny entangled model of itself that gets to live on this little planet and gets to help the energetic and emotional problems of the universe on a bigger scale. Because each one of us represents half the locations of all the atoms in the universe. And if there's some calamity happening, and we can have some empathetic understanding or emotional understanding for the other half of the universe that we don't have anything to do with, but is entangled with us. And here on Earth we meet, and here on Earth is where we make those connections. That's the power of the human being. That's why the robot, until it's entangled, which creates another problem, because once it's entangled, it's actually dependent on us being entangled. So that creates a whole nother problem, but we'll deal with that when it comes time. So that's how the universe works and how the human spirit works.